This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Wednesday, March 19, 2025. St. James Police foil attempted supermarket robbery in Montego Bay. Grief counseling to be conducted at Christiana High School in Manchester after a footballer died during training. Political commentator says some claims by the opposition leader on the Constitutional Reform Committee are untrue. In regional news, St. Vincent and the Grenadines to meet with Venezuela over Essequibo conflict. In international news, Putin agrees to 30-day halt on energy facility strikes, but no full Ukraine ceasefire. In sports, J3As could be asked to set new dates for the National Junior and Senior Championships for 2025. And in business, Google to pay $28 million to settle claims that favored white and Asian employees. The details after the break.
Looking for a partner on your financial journey? Look no further. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited offers attractive loan specials and easy savings plans. Plus, becoming a member is simple. If you're over the age of 16 and want to join a credit union that truly cares about your financial wellness, you may be eligible for membership. Conditions apply. Call or visit us at www.jpscu.com to find out more and start building your future today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Members of the St. James Beat Officer Patrol Division intercepted an attempted robbery at a supermarket on Church Street, Montego Bay on Tuesday. During the confrontation, at least two armed men engaged the lawmen with a high-powered weapon and a handgun. Two members of the patrol team were shot and injured in the exchange. Their injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. The gunmen escaped, and it is currently unclear whether any of them was injured in the exchange. The St. James Police are seeking the assistance of potential witnesses to gather intelligence on the suspects' identities and whereabouts. Grief counseling is to be conducted today, Wednesday, at Christiana High in Manchester after a footballer died during training at the school on Tuesday afternoon. The student has been identified as 18-year-old Adriano Jeffrey. Adriano is originally from Glengoff in St. Catherine. He was residing at the school along with his football coach, who is also from St. Catherine. The police report that about 4 p.m., Adriano was participating in training. But while on a break, he informed the coach that he was feeling sick. His asthma pump was reportedly sent for, and the school's nurse was alerted. Adriano was taken to the Percy Junior Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Political commentator Dr. Nadine Spence says some of the claims made by the opposition leader, as he criticized the work done by the Constitutional Reform Committee, are untrue. Dr. Spence, who is a member of the committee, was reacting to Mark Golding's presentation in the 2025-2026 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Mahir Stewart has that story.
Concerns about the constitutional reform process were some of the pointed remarks made by opposition leader Mark Golding as he delivered his contribution to the budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. Among the issues detailed are the use of a referendum to determine Jamaica's final court, the use of a phased approach to the reform process, and the selection process of the president. But according to a member of the Constitutional Reform Committee, Dr. Nadine Spence, multiple comments made about the process by Mr. Golding were simply false. Speaking with Cliff Hughes, Ricardo Brooks, and Siobhan Campbell on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday evening, Dr. Spence first sought to refute the opposition leader's claims that the phased approach to reform would derail the process.
I wanted to push back on some of what he said because some of what he said is not true.
Okay,
firstly, your radio station interviewed the people from IDEA International who came to Jamaica and having looked at our process said they thought the phased approach was perhaps one of the best they have seen in constitutional reform efforts globally.
Yes.
And one of the things they pointed out is that a large percentage of constitutional reform efforts globally are unsuccessful. They're unsuccessful because of different things. Part of them is this thing called public consultation. And one of the things they say is whether or not you do the consultation at the top end of the reform effort or at the bottom end, i.e. you present a document to the people. It is contentious. So constitutional reform efforts are contentious.
Mr. Golding also voiced concern about how the bill concerning the constitutional reform would affect the Senate. Dr. Spence says this criticism is also flawed. She also points out that this concern of the opposition leader was already addressed by the committee.
For example, he talked about this matter of the Senate losing its check on the legislative reform system. That was not true.
Yes, my recollection is that, yes, it wouldn't. Yes.
The document highlights that even though there is a proposition that the Senate be expanded, the Senate would still maintain its role as the constitutional bodyguard, right?
The provision in the numbers in the Senate, 13-8, which gives the opposition a virtual veto, over any deeply entrenched changes. That provision, as proposed, would remain. So Mr. Golding misled us when he made it.
Exactly, and Mr. Golding knows that that's not true because he wrote to us twice about that and we responded twice.
Lastly, Dr. Spence dashed Mr. Golding's claims about impeachment. She cited fellow committee member Dr. Lloyd Barnett's research to back her point.
This thing about the right to recall and impeachment provision. Right. We didn't suggest them, and neither did Dr. Barnett. In fact, Dr. Barnett, who he quoted as a respected constitutional expert in Jamaica, was the person who did his soundings and came back to the committee and spoke about the matter of impeachment. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out that impeachment has not been in use since in any constitution outside of the U.S. in parliamentary system since somewhere about 16-something, because they as laws have progressed and as governments have become more sophisticated and as legal frameworks have been expanded, it's almost as if there is no need for a constitutional mechanism for impeachment because the legislative process takes care of the need for impeachment.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
And the opposition leader Mark Golding says the next PNP government will put in place a strategic 10-year national road maintenance and rehabilitation plan.
We have listened to the voice of Jamaicans demanding safer and more reliable roads. The next PNP government will introduce a structured reform that includes independent technical oversight, a revival of regional public works teams. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure that repairs and routine maintenance are done professionally. Local teams, supported by training from HART and UTEC and other institutions, will enhance local skills development and ensure higher quality and accountability. We have to bring an end to potholes the size of ponds engulfing main main thoroughfares like Spanish Town Road and Howard Cook Boulevard. Mr. Speaker, we will put in place a strategic 10-year national road maintenance and rehabilitation plan. It will move away from the reactive patchwork solution to preventative maintenance and strategic resource allocation, saving billions of dollars over the long term.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has argued that the deplorable state of numerous roads in the country is due largely to 30 years of neglect under the previous PNP administrations. He has also identified climate change as a contributor to the deterioration in the quality of road services. The Holness administration is implementing the Spark and Reach Works and road repair programs with a combined spend of almost $50 billion. But Golding says the GLP administration continues to fail where road maintenance is concerned.
We cannot, in good conscience, accept such preventable tragedies as the new normal. The state of Jamaica's roads are undoubtedly the worst that they have been in living memory. The nation's potholes have become a symbol of failure of this government's prosperity promise. After 9 years of glaring neglect, government initiatives like REACH and Spark are in reality just temporary and inadequate fixes. Indeed, the major project Spark will only address, I believe, 4% of the total road network. But what about the other 96% of the road network that serves the families in rural communities? What about the roads that serve the yam and banana farmer in Muirhouse, St. Anna, and the coffee farmers in Landui and St. Thomas?
Mark Golding, opposition leader. Meanwhile, Mr. Golding says the next PNP government will move towards a system of independent oversight for road projects.
There is an urgent need for independent oversight, for better planning, and for technological integration to ensure taxpayer funds are effectively spent. Indeed, the sudden announcement of World Bank involvement signals that restructuring and urgent institutional strengthening are overdue. We will establish a comprehensive drainage program, working from a detailed list of the priority areas that need urgent attention across the country. We have already compiled that list with expert assistance. Mr. Speaker, we are ready to govern Jamaica.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. And the opposition leader says the PNP will provide financial support to local food producers through the establishment of an agricultural development fund.
We will fund it from the existing import taxes on food. For example, an earmarked allocation of 1% of current food imports would raise approximately $2.5 billion per annum for that fund. Our vision is to provide much needed assistance for local farmers in relation to essential inputs like tools, equipment and machinery, water storage and irrigation systems, and to help them with land preparation and to produce storage facilities and access to finance.
He says that the fund will be instrumental in reducing post-harvest losses. Golding adds that the PNP will strengthen Jamaica's food security and expand the irrigation and research capabilities in the sector by implementing a program dubbed SMART. SMART stands for Sustainable Management of Agriculture through Research and Technology, the SMART program.
Increasing the productivity of our farmers through the introduction of improved climate-smart farming systems and technology-driven farming operations. Repairing farm roads to enable our farmers to access the farms and transport their produce to market. Engaging major private sector players in poultry, agro-processing, milk and livestock production to create an enabling environment that they require so that they can expand their already very significant contribution to the sector.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says the country remains on track to generate 50% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030. He was highlighting the progress being made to build out wind and solar farms, which will come online in 2027.
In November 2024, the Generation Procurement Entity awarded 99.83 megawatts of new solar capacity contract to Wigton Energy Limited and Sunterra Energy Jamaica Limited. Both bidders have obtained their generation licenses from the ministry, and their implementation schedule completion is expected by 2027.
The minister was speaking at a press briefing held at the ministry's headquarters, on Trafalgar Road in Kingston on Tuesday. The 50% renewable energy goal forms part of the government's plan to reduce reliance on expensive imported fossil fuel. The plan prioritizes wind, hydro, and solar as primary energy sources and battery energy storage systems for grid stability, reliability, and efficiency. Minister Vaz also announced the expansion of utility-scale renewable projects that are expected to come on stream this year.
An additional 220 megawatts of utility-scale renewables with storage will be competitively procured in 2025, alongside JPS's replacement of 171.5 megawatts of retiring fossil fuel units using only renewables, which will bring renewables electricity generation close to 48% when the projects are connected to the grid.
Darrell Vaz, Minister of Energy. CEO of the National Commercial Bank, NCB, Bruce Bowen, says the reopening of its St. Anne's Bay branch forms part of efforts to expand service delivery to customers. He was speaking Monday night at the reopening of NCB's St. Anne's Bay Financial Centre.
We are driven by this vision of building a better Jamaica. How we're going to do that as a financial institution is making sure that we're your financial institution of choice, that we are anchoring that primary relationship so that you trust us with that. We're helping you grow wealth, and that we're going to build an organization that's delivering world-class standards, raising that standard so that you're not getting the service and the products that you would is acceptable for Jamaica, but that are world-class, that would be competing in any market globally.
Bruce Bowen, CEO of NCB. NCB says after adjusting the branch's operating model in recent years, it heard the customers or the concerns of customers and the business community and took action. That included renovating the branch and reinstating the services customers consider most important to their lives and livelihood. NCB Chairman Michael Lee Chin, who spoke at the launch, stressed that NCB was committed to improving customer experience and wealth creation.
At the end of the day, you pay the bills. So we therefore have to be respectful of those who pay the bills and treat you in the way in which you deserve, with respect, with humility, and with gratitude.
Michael Lee Chin, NCB Chairman. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
For generations, Jamaican families have trusted Imperial Optical to keep their vision clear and their style sharp. From their first eye exam to the latest in fashion frames, we've been there for every milestone, every moment, and every memory. Whether it's your child's first day at school or your grandparents' golden years, our care spans every age, every stage. Visit Imperial Optical today. Generations of care, generations of trust.
In regional and international news, regional Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, is meeting with Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. The talks are expected to help ease rising tension over the disputed Essequibo region. Dr. Gonzalez had an initial meeting with President Maduro on Tuesday. He met with the President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, on Monday. Dr. Gonzalez is urging calm and restraint, and for both parties to return to diplomacy in the interest of maintaining economic and social stability for the entire Latin America and Caribbean region. The Essequibo area lies west of the Essequibo River. The territory, excluding the Venezuelan-controlled Coco Island, is controlled by Guyana as part of its regions. It is also claimed by Venezuela as the Guayana Essequibo state. In international, Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to a temporary halt to attacks on Ukrainian energy facilities. He, however, declined to endorse a full 30-day ceasefire that President Donald Trump hoped would be the first step towards a permanent peace deal. Ukraine said it would support the scaled-back agreement, which would require both countries to hold off firing on each other's energy infrastructure for about a month. Experts say Putin avoided making significant concessions in what could be a play for time as Russian troops advance in eastern Ukraine. The White House said talks on a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, as well as a more complete ceasefire and a permanent peace deal, would begin immediately. This following a lengthy call between Trump and Putin on Tuesday. It was also unclear whether Ukraine would be involved in those talks. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua, with round-trip flights on us. Every week you could win exciting prizes: event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Yo, my boss.
Yo,
my general.
Yeah.
Yo, my king.
Yeah.
The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stackerific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King. Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply. Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Time now for your morning sports. Nationwide Sports has been reliably informed that track and field's local body, the J3As, could be asked to find new dates for the National Junior and Senior Championships. At the moment, the championships are scheduled for June 26 to 29 at the National Stadium. However, Nationwide Sports understands that the dates came up for discussion at a 3-day meeting of Diamond League organizers in Italy last week. We were told that there are concerns that at least 3 Diamond League meets could suffer from weakened lineups as leading Jamaican athletes head to Kingston to chase spots on the team to the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan in September. In addition, the National Championships clash with the final leg of Grand Slam track, which is set for June 27 to 29 in Los Angeles. 11 Jamaicans, including Rashawn Clark, Rochelle Clayton, Akira Nugent, Oblique Seville, Daniel Williams, Nikisha Price, and Hansel Parchment have all signed up to compete at Grand Slam track. It's understood that World Athletics have taken an interest in the matter, as they were present at the meeting of Diamond League bosses. 2 windows have been suggested and set aside for national associations to stage their national championships, July 31 to August 3 and August 22 to 24. Athletes who have signed up for Grand Slam track are said to be in danger of losing bonuses and a percentage of their base contract if they fail to appear at the stops they've signed on to. Nationwide Sports tried without success to contact at least 2 members of the J3A's executive for comments. Coach of Jamaica's senior women's cricketers, Shane Brooks, has praised Sports Minister Olivia Grange for her ministry's decision to recognize and honor the members of the team for their contribution to the growth of the women's game over the years. Grange recently presented an incentive check for $6.8 million to the team that participated in the recent CG United Super 50 Cup.
It's just to show the support of the women's team. We won the double last year, the T20 and the 50 over in the regional cricket tournament. And it was very good to see that the ladies have been recognized. These ladies have been doing so much for the country as it relates to cricket. They have been working relentlessly hard. And it's really nice to see that, the effort that they have put in, the hard work that they have been doing for the country by winning so many titles over the last 10, 15 years. It is recognized.
Brooks says this initiative will further encourage the players to produce their best.
I'm proud. I've been involved with this team for the last 4 years, and we have won 4 titles in that 4 years. So as a coach, I feel really good. And I'm just looking to just continue working hard with the group and try to get more accolades and trophies for the country.
Shane Brooks, wrapping up your morning sports.
In this uncertain U.S. immigration climate, you need expert guidance you can trust. The Consular Queen LLC handles visas, waivers, petitions, and more, making immigration stress-free. Don't navigate the process alone. Get professional support today. Call 470-593-8448 now. That's 470-593-8448. The Consular Queen. Unite families, change lives. 470-593-8448. Secure your future today.
In business this morning, the BBC is reporting that Ben & Jerry's has said its chief executive, David Stever, was being removed by its parent company, Unilever, in a growing dispute over the ice cream company's political activism. The allegation was part of a legal case filed in a U.S. court by Ben & Jerry's that says Unilever violated a merger agreement by trying to silence its social mission. Unilever did not immediately reply to a request for comment from BBC News. It comes a month after the ice cream company accused Unilever of demanding that it stops publicly criticizing U.S. President Donald Trump. The filing says the decision to oust Stever was made without any consultation, as required in the merger agreement between the two companies. It added that Unilever attempted to force the independent board into rubber stamping the decision. Ben & Jerry's was bought by Unilever in 2000 through a merger agreement that created an independent board tasked with protecting the ice cream brand's values and mission. The company has long been known for taking a public stance on social issues. Steva has been with Ben & Jerry's since joining the firm in 1998 as a tour guide. He was appointed CEO in 2023. Now, Google has agreed to pay $28 million to settle a lawsuit that claimed white and Asian employees were given better pay and career opportunities than workers from other ethnic backgrounds. That's according to a law firm representing claimants. The technology giant confirmed it had reached a resolution but rejected the allegations made against it. The case, filed in 2021 by former Google employee Anna Cantu, said workers from Hispanic, Latino, Native American, and other backgrounds started on lower salaries and job levels than their white and Asian counterparts. The case, brought by Cantu against Google, relied on a leaked internal document which allegedly showed that employees from some ethnic backgrounds reported lower compensation for similar work. According to Cantu's lawyers, the practice of basing starting pay and job level on prior salaries reinforced historical race and ethnicity-based disparities. Reuters news agency has reported that the class action lawsuit was filed for at least 6,632 people who were employed by Google between February 15, 2018 and December 31, 2024. And finally now, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 10 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $157.52 against the benchmark US dollar. The Jamaican dollar has gained 1 cent and will open trading today, selling for an average $110.02 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $4.54 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $205.56 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:30.
Attention procurement officers looking for office furniture? Call Econo Office and School Supplies. We also offer stationery, office equipment, printing supplies, school supplies, shredder servicing, and custom stamps. Visit us at 40.5B Red Hills Road, Kingston. Call 876-620-8820 or WhatsApp 876-208-2233. Visit our website at econo-oss.com. Econo Office and School Supplies Limited, your one-stop shop for all office and school needs. Let us simplify your life.
Coveside Concert Series presents Timeless. It happens on March 29 at Plantation Cove, St. Anne, featuring international superstar Dionne Warwick and more stars: Myrna Hague, Queen Marcia Griffiths, and Dwayne Stevens. Timeless, March 29. Showtime is 8 p.m. and tickets are now available at Fesco, Fontana Pharmacy, Plantation Smokehouse, and online at coveside.aitix.com.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for, and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO.
IPO.
With Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
It's hard to build a better nation with different races. When every day you awoke, there are new faces. No brotherly love, no sisterly love, for there are none. And nothing to erase from each line, horrible traces. Yet they talk about love, they talk about love. Yet they talk about love, 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 sweet love. Listen. Then in the house of nation fight for more power, brotherly love. But it's easier to write a story in a longer hour, brotherly love. No godly love, but there is always a daily grace. And it took a miracle to put love into hatred. Yet they talk about love, they talk about love. Yes, they talk about love, 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 sweet love. Listen.
Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide This Morning, NTM. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Wednesday morning. Happy Wednesday to you. It is Wednesday, March 19, 2025. I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning, Tona. Surprise! My name is George.
Hey to you, George.
Good morning. How you do?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good. Very good this
Wonderful,
morning. Very
wonderful.
good this morning.
Good morning to our YouTubers as well. Robert McKenzie, haven't seen you in a while. Good morning to you. Happy to have you back in the space. Hello to you as well at Cheerful Birds, Loxley Gregory, Margot Weber, Carolyn Burke, all of you in the YouTube chat. Hello to you. And to our peeps out there in Radio Land, hello to you as well.
Good morning. I see you say good morning to Loxley Gregory, the man who beat with every post is a criticism, is a cussing.
It's all about love.
Yeah, understand the man. So what? And then it's propaganda central. Oh God. Anyway, Loxley might want to look away at certain points this morning. Yes, we waited for the moment, and the moment came on Tuesday afternoon. Mark Jefferson Golding, the leader of the opposition, president of the PNP, spoke in the budget debate. Now we can make a link between Golding's presentation, Julian Robinson's presentation, and take that in totality as the outline of the PNP's plan for Jamaica if it forms the next government. First question you have to ask yourself: did you hear a plan for the country if the PNP forms the next government? And after asking yourself that, you need to ask yourself, does the plan sound credible from the PNP based on what Julian Robinson and Mark Golding said? I'm looking at Mark Golding this morning. And the first thing is that, well, unlike many people who are in the YouTube chat, I rather like Mark Golding. I've always done. I was a participant, well, the best interview I've ever been a part of, whether in my career in sport or in hard news, current affairs. The best interview I've been a part of, Mark Golding was a part of that. It was myself, Cliff, Mark Golding, and the outstanding Walter Scott, KC. It was an issue of constitutional matters way back when I had just completed my apprenticeship and was, moving. And it was brilliant, and I've had tremendous respect for him from that day. And I think that Golding has something to offer to the politics. So it's important for me to put that on the table. The question I asked myself as I saw him go through his paces on Tuesday: is there a prime minister in him? And that was one of the things I was scrutinizing Golding for. Again, I repeat that I am trained in these matters of assessing speeches and making them. I did a lot of that in my university time. and there are tricks and things that people like myself have that would escape a casual observer. Did I see a prime minister in Mark Golding? Yes, I did. I saw someone who, somewhere through the weeds and the morass, there is a prime minister. There isn't a prime minister front and center, but there is a prime minister there, which is a credit to him. I want to look at the speech first from what I believe to be the high point of the speech. And there is no doubt that the high point of the speech was from page 40 in the text, where he starts talking about the NHT, the National Housing Trust. That's when Mark Golding stopped reading and started presenting. That's when he started conversing directly with the Jamaican people. That's when he seemed most at ease. That's when he was almost snapping his fingers as he went into the various elements of the plan for the NHT. That's when he hit his sweet spot. So in that presentation about the NHT, as I've said to you before, I want you to work with me on this and believe in me when I tell you this. How you know if a plan or a proposal has the makings of being a good plan or a good proposal is if it causes you to think. You're thinking about the costing of it. You're thinking about really if it makes sense. You're comparing it to what is existing now, what existed before. You're doing all of that with the plan or the proposal. It has the elements of a good plan. And the NHT element of the presentation was what had my brain whirring, trying to process this. And even as he spoke, that was undoubtedly the sweet spot, because there's a lot there for the different segments that he crafted that element of the speech to appeal to. Some good sounding things. So Mark Golding, in that aspect of the speech, NHT Tana, met the mark significantly. But there are questions about the sweet spot. Because I would have thought that with so much time to prepare to make this pitch to Jamaicans about housing, that the costing would have been there. And I'm sorry, but I can't move beyond the point of you saying 11.4 billion, you'll stop taking that out of the NHT. By the way, the finance minister said the same thing when she made her presentation 2 weeks ago. And even you said it without saying it, because you said that in 2017, the government extended for 8 more years this drawdown from the NHT, 8 and 7 and 15, 2025, so it would end now, even by your comments. So it's not as if you're saying that you're going to do something that the government didn't say it's doing already, but be that as it may. So 11.4 billion, you're going to stop taking that. And you're going to do so many things. You had to, Mr. Golding, bring the numbers to prove how it would work. Because as I said, that part of the speech was exciting, it was intriguing, it was engaging. The plans sound good. But I can't use my reading pen and give you a 10 out of 10 for that section because I don't know the cost. Any government can say, you know what, we're going to write off all of the debts of everybody in the public sector who owes a debt to a public utility. We're going to waive the fees for anybody in the public sector who wants to import an SUV. Of course, that's good, and we'd want that to happen. But how much it's going to cost? And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. How much will it cost to do what you say you are doing? And it's not enough to give me, if you speak for 3 hours, captive audience nationally, you're being played on radio, in the cars, in the rum shop, in the newsrooms, everywhere you are for 3 hours, and you can't give me the costing. You leave me to wonder now, so hold on there. You don't think we need a costing? Are you saying to me that, listen, let's do this speech, propose these ideas, don't give them a costing because they don't need it, and they won't mark us hard for not giving them the costing of this centerpiece plan? So that for me was a big disappointment, notwithstanding the fact that the NHD bit was your best bit of the speech. I thought your researchers did well in the part of the speech concerning constitutional reform and how you tied what Edward Seaga, Bruce Golding, and Hugh Shearer said, expressed thoughts, and what their the intent of their perspective was on the CCJ, to say to the party that those three men led, that look, well, Hugh Shearer wasn't party leader, he was prime minister, but the party that those three men are giants in, to say, look, the people before you, Mr. Holness, they were moving in this way where the Caribbean Court is concerned. Why aren't you declaring? So your researchers, I think, did a very good job to succinctly just capture what those three men said and put it together for you to make the point. But at the same time, I was saying to myself, so why is it that Mr. Golding is adamant for the Prime Minister to declare what his position is on the CCJ? The opposition have already put on the table what their position is on the CCJ already. And yet at the same time, Mr. Golding laments the fact that we should not go the route of referendum because it was politicized, the process, and something like that shouldn't be politicized. But it doesn't make sense to me, because you have already gone out to say that you are pro-CCJ. So if we go to a referendum, people go to a referendum knowing that the PNP wants the CCJ. So if you're a PNP, you're more than likely, based on your reasoning, Mr. Golding, to vote yes to CCJ because that's what your party wants. But at the same time, you're saying, don't politicize this thing. Well, a referendum would politicize this thing. And at the same time, you're saying that Holness should declare where he stands. And that now will give a natural yin and yang, JLP, PNP position, and end up politicizing a referendum. But it's just a question I'm asking. So your researchers did well there and with the NHD. The issue of Portmore showed that your researchers left you short. Because when Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, beg your pardon, made the very important intervention to say that, look, how can you say that by virtue of what the JLP is doing with Portmore 15th Parish, they are taking away from Portmore residents the right to directly elect their mayor, because all Portmore residents have that. I live in Portmore, and I don't have that right. Because there are many people who live in Portmore who can't vote directly for the mayor, despite them living in Portmore. But apparently, it was obvious Mr. Golding didn't know this, because he didn't know how to answer Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, and it threw him off from his line. And that was, you notice, that was the only flashpoint in the presentation yesterday. Usually there are many flashpoints, but there was only one yesterday. It was over Portmore, and Golding didn't handle it properly because he obviously did not know that not everybody resident in Portmore can vote directly for the mayor, even though they can vote for a councillor in Portmore. For the rest of it, as I watched the presentation, Tana, from start to finish, an hour into the presentation, I was waiting for Mr. Golding to settle. But the speech to me came across as a university student hurrying through the presentation of their dissertation because they had somewhere else to go. I know that Mr. Golding is a fast rate speaker, yeah? But there were some points that he made that you present those points. You don't read them off a paper. The student's loan point would have connected even better if you had spoken to your audience when you got there. But what you did was just read it off the paper and run through. It's as if you felt that the clock is against. The clock wasn't against you, Mr. Golding. You owned the time, didn't you hear? Well, as is a form in Parliament, Ed Bartlett said, Mr. Speaker, I move that the member be allowed to complete his presentation, to be given enough time, so necessary, sufficient enough for him to complete his presentation. So you had all the time. So the presentation, as I said, a university student standing in front of a room of professors and just rattling through the presentation of their dissertation at knots per minute. That for me was, and I watched every single minute of it. Every single minute I watched. So overall, with the absence of key numbers to price, to cost your ideas, Mr. Golding, and for the bulk of the presentation where you were in a race with yourself. There isn't a grade I can give you that you would be satisfied with. And I know you can do better. And the disappointment for me from your presentation, as a man who says he's the Prime Minister in waiting and a man who is the Prime Minister in waiting, if you've spent so much time, this is your fifth budget presentation, you didn't go to the party, usual party events on Sunday. You weren't in Southeast St. Elizabeth for the opening of Norman Scott's office. You were in training. You spent so much time in training, and yet you didn't come and tell us, Jamaica, this is going to cost this. This is going to cost that. I get the money from here to do this. The Porsche initiative, you said, okay, well, we'll take some money from the consolidated fund, and then we'll find a source of funding from the profits of the low-income housing that the HAJ repurpose is going to build. That's not good enough. So you got pats on your back from those on your side yesterday. But I wouldn't pat you on the back, Mr. Golding, because there were so many critical things from the presentation that you did not give us, chief among which is the price of your plans. What will your plans cost the Jamaican taxpayer?
The Ministry of Justice offers free counseling to victims of crime. Call 876-946-0663. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
6:49.
$1 million in an unsecured loan from JPS and Partners could be yours. Conditions apply. The temperature, compliments of JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union. Your financial partner for life is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Deposit we have insurance. It's an account that come with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead, no need to put your hands by your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, one room you can start it, or throw a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JDIC is a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JDIC them protect me. Bank and Building Society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smart. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. Join us for fast and easy registration, informative sessions, one-on-one guidance, and more. Look out for us on March 11, Port Antonio, March 13, May Pen, March 14, Morant Bay, March 18, Mandeville, March 21, Ocho Rios, March 25, Montego Bay, and our last stop, March 28, Halfway Tree. UCC Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. You don't want to miss it. Visit www.ucc.edu.jm for more details.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning. Quite an interesting presentation yesterday, thank you. Good morning, Tana.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
Right. It's a bright and sunny. I tell you, the mornings are contrasting, you know. It's bright and sunny. And those of you who are on the westbound side, heading eastbound, it's going to be lots of sun in your eyes, all right? So if you don't have a visor or sunscreen, sorry for it. But let's start off with what's going on in the east. Those of you, in the community in the eastern side, St. Thomas, it's developing. But it's good vehicular movement. When you get to 7 miles, going towards the roundabout, that's where you're going to have a little build up. It's kind of getting busy there right now. But if you're heading off to the airport, Michael Manley Highway, it's no problem. Norman Manley Highway, sorry. No problem heading out to the airport or even going further to Port Royal. So for the Glasspool Highway, no problems. Going straight out, you have no problems, and this is westbound. Going on to Michael Manley Boulevard, it's the same thing. Going, no problem. The road that runs, Windward Road, it runs parallel to Michael Manley Boulevard. It's not a problem. It's getting busy though, especially when you get on to East Parade. But no problems, no challenges in going up Mountain View, and this is northbound. It's going to get busy though, but so far no problem. Diener Road, up Ellison Road, all these areas are having good movement. If you're on Arthur Wynne now, you can make it in both directions, going up formerly Herbert Kinley Drive, formerly Roosevelt having it pretty good going all the way up to Stanton Terrace. And at the top of Mountain View, going across to Seaview, I mean, you have no problems at all. Where you might have some concern is over up in the Papine area. Number of transportation is there, and taxis and all of that, loading and all of that. But coming down Old Hope Road for the time is pretty steady progress. But remember, look out for the commuters in the vicinity of the embassy. They're crossing, at various intervals, so you have to be careful. And a number of people try to access parking in that particular area. I can tell you from now, the bulk of the traffic is on the west side, heading towards the east. All right, so be aware of that. It's our first report for the morning. Yes, on the bright and sunny condition. It's back to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow McLean there with Street Smarts. One up next, the word of the day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of the day is spelled Paregmenon. Spelled Paregmenon.
Paregmenon. Paregmenon. Paregmenon.
Paregmenon is your word of the day. It's a noun, and it means the juxtaposition of words that have a common root. Paregmenon is your word of the day, first recorded between 1670 and 1680. To use it in a sentence, the title of the Jane Austen book, Sense and Sensibility, is an example of paregmenon. Paregmenon is your word of the day. The definition again, the juxtaposition of words that have a common root. Up next, your features at the top of the hour of the news.
Having kittens is a very exciting and emotional time for you and your cat. Before you can welcome these bundles of fur into your home, you need to know how to tell if your cat is pregnant and what you can do to ensure her pregnancy is as happy as possible. To help you support your pet throughout her pregnancy and labor, we've covered everything you need to know about expectant cats. In Pets World today, a cat's pregnancy. Much like us, cats have periods of peak fertility when they can become pregnant. This is known as being in season or in heat. Cats can come into season about once every 3 weeks, so there are plenty of opportunities for your pet to fall pregnant. How long is a cat pregnant? Cat pregnancy normally lasts between 63 to 67 days, but it can be tough to know exactly how long a cat is pregnant for. Your cat often won't show any physical symptoms of pregnancy until she's a few weeks into her term. If you'd like to know how to tell if your cat is pregnant, there are several physical signs that you should be able to spot after 2 or 3 weeks have passed. After approximately 15 to 18 days of a cat pregnancy, you may notice that your pet's nipples become enlarged and red. Similar to morning sickness in humans, your pregnant cat may go through a stage of vomiting. Your cat's tummy will start to swell, but avoid touching it so you don't risk hurting mom or her unborn kittens. They will gradually gain weight depending on the number of kittens she's carrying. Cats tend to have an increased appetite later in their pregnancy, which will also contribute towards their weight gain. An increased appetite could also be a sign of worms or illness, so double check with your vet to confirm. Your pregnant cat may act more maternal, meaning she purrs more and seeks extra fuss and attention from you. There are several signs to look out for that signal the kittens are on their way. Signs of active cat labor. If your cat refuses food, acts fidgety, and looks for a secluded place to settle down, it could be because her labor is due to start very soon. Right before giving birth, they may become more vocal, appear agitated, and want to wash themselves constantly. Delivery should start with strong abdominal contractions, followed by some discharge from her vagina. If the discharge is heavy and black or blood-colored, contact your vet. After this discharge, the kittens should follow very quickly. Most cat labors go smoothly and you shouldn't have to interfere. There are some signs, however, such as discolored discharge and mom straining without producing kittens, which could suggest complications. If you notice either of these or have any other concerns, contact your vet. That's it for Pets World today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Ever wonder if you smell? Self-conscious about the way you smell? Tempted to smell yourself in public? I'm Tana, and today on Lifestyle Pages, I'll give you a few tips on how to control your body odor. Take care of your personal hygiene and it will take care of you. Keep yourself squeaky clean. Shower at least once per day. This will wash away any body odor causing bacteria that may harbor on your skin. Use antibacterial soap. This will assist in reducing bacteria on the skin, hence reducing your body odor. When you go shopping for soaps, make sure to look for the word antibacterial on the packaging. Dry skin thoroughly. Don't only use the wash rag on your skin. Use a dry towel as well. If the skin is dry, then it's less likely to cause bacteria multiplying. You might also want to change your deodorant. Choose one that has antiperspirants on the label. This will help keep sweat away. Change your clothes regularly. It is recommended to wear cotton fiber clothes because this allows your skin to breathe, keeping you drier and odor-free. Lastly, drink plenty of water. I'm Tana, and those were your Lifestyle Pages today.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Wednesday, March 19, 2025, St. James Police nab suspect in attempted robbery at a supermarket in Montego Bay, St. James. Grief counseling to be conducted at Christiana High School in Manchester after a young footballer dies during training. Constitutional Reform Committee member refutes claims by the opposition leader about the committee's work. And in international news, Putin agrees to 30-day halt on energy facility strikes, but no full Ukraine ceasefire.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that one of the gunmen who engaged the lawmen in an attempted robbery in Montego Bay, St. James on Tuesday night is in police custody. Our sources say the police are hot on the heels of the other suspects. The robbery attempt happened at Feng Supermarket on Church Street in Montego Bay. Reports are that members of the St. James Beat Officer Patrol Division intercepted the gunmen at the supermarket. During the confrontation, at least two armed men engaged the lawmen with a high-powered weapon and a handgun. Two members of the patrol team were shot and injured in the exchange. Our sources say they are in serious but stable condition. The St. James Police are seeking the assistance of potential witnesses to gather intelligence on the suspects' identities and whereabouts. Grief counseling is to be conducted at Christiana High in Manchester today after a footballer died during training at the school on Tuesday afternoon. The student has been identified as 18-year-old Adriano Jeffrey. Adriano is originally from Glengoff in St. Catherine. He was residing at the school along with his football coach, who's also from St. Catherine. The police report that at about 4 p.m., Adriano was participating in training, but while on a break, he informed the coach he was feeling ill. Members of the team reportedly fetched Adriano's asthma pump and alerted the school nurse. Adriano was taken to Percy Junior Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Political commentator Dr. Nadine Spence says some of the claims made by the opposition leader, as he criticized the work of the Constitutional Reform Committee, are untrue. Dr. Spence, who is a member of the committee, was reacting to Mark Golding's presentation in the 2025-26 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Mahira Stewart has that story.
Concerns about the constitutional reform process were some of the pointed remarks made by opposition leader Mark Golding as he delivered his contribution to the budget debate in Parliament on Tuesday. Among the issues detailed are the use of a referendum to determine Jamaica's final court, the use of a phased approach to the reform process, and the selection process of the president. But according to a member of the Constitutional Reform Committee, Dr. Nadine Spence, multiple comments made about the process by Mr. Golding were simply false. Speaking with Cliff Hughes, Ricardo Brooks, and Siobhan Campbell on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday evening, Dr. Spence first sought to refute the opposition leader's claims that the phased approach to reform would derail the process.
I wanted to push back on some of what he said because some of what he said is not true.
Okay,
Firstly, your radio station interviewed the people from IDEA International who came to Jamaica and having looked at our process said they thought the phased approach was perhaps one of the best they have seen in constitutional reform efforts globally.
Yes.
And one of the things they pointed out is that a large percentage of constitutional reform efforts globally are unsuccessful. They're unsuccessful because of different things. Part of them is this thing called public consultation. And one of the things they say is whether or not you do the consultation at the top end of the reform effort or at the bottom end, i.e. you present a document to the people. It is contentious. So constitutional reform efforts are contentious.
Mr. Golding also voiced concern about how the bill concerning the constitutional reform would affect the Senate. Dr. Spence says this criticism is also flawed. She also points out that this concern of the opposition leader was already addressed by the committee.
For example, he talked about this matter of the Senate losing its check on the legislative reform system. That was not true.
Yes, my recollection is that, yes, it wouldn't, yes.
The document highlights that even though there is a proposition that the Senate be expanded, the Senate will still maintain its role as the constitutional bodyguard, right?
The provision in the numbers in the Senate, 13-8, which gives the opposition a virtual veto, over any deeply entrenched changes. That provision, as proposed, would remain. So Mr. Golding misled us when he made it.
Exactly, and Mr. Golding knows that that's not true because he wrote to us twice about that and we responded twice.
Lastly, Dr. Spence dashed Mr. Golding's claims about impeachment. She cited fellow committee member Dr. Lloyd Barnett's research to back her point.
This thing about the right to recall and impeachment provision. We didn't suggest them, and neither did Dr. Barnett. In fact, Dr. Barnett, who he quoted as a respected constitutional expert in Jamaica, was the person who did his soundings and came back to the committee and spoke about the matter of impeachment. And he pointed out that impeachment has not been in use in any constitution outside of the U.S. in parliamentary systems since somewhere about 16-something, because they as laws have progressed and as governments have become more sophisticated and as legal frameworks have been expanded, it's almost as if there is no need for a constitutional mechanism for impeachment because the legislative process takes care of the need for impeachment.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
And the opposition leader says the next PNP government will put in place a strategic 10-year national road maintenance and rehabilitation plan.
We have listened to the voice of Jamaicans demanding safer and more reliable roads. The next PNP government will introduce a structured reform that includes independent technical oversight, a revival of regional public works teams. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure that repairs and routine maintenance are done professionally. Local teams, supported by training from HART and UTEC and other institutions, will enhance local skills development and ensure higher quality and accountability. We have to bring an end to potholes the size of ponds engulfing main thoroughfares like Spanish Town Road and Howard Cook Boulevard. Mr. Speaker, we will put in place a strategic 10-year national road maintenance and rehabilitation plan. It will move away from the reactive patchwork solution to preventative maintenance and strategic resource allocation, saving billions of dollars over the long term.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has argued that the deplorable state of numerous roads in the country is due largely to 30 years of neglect under previous PNP administrations. He has also identified climate change as a contributor to the deterioration in the quality of road surfaces. The Holness administration is implementing the Spark and Reach Works and Road Repair programs with a combined spend of almost $50 billion. But Golding says the JLP administration continues to fail where road maintenance is concerned.
We cannot, in good conscience, accept such preventable tragedies as the new normal. The state of Jamaica's roads are undoubtedly the worst that they have been in living memory. The nation's potholes have become a symbol of failure of this government's prosperity promise. After 9 years of glaring neglect, government initiatives like REACH and Spark are in reality just temporary and inadequate fixes. Indeed, the major project Spark will only address, I believe, 4% of the total road network. But what about the other 96% of the road network that serves the families in rural communities? What about the roads that serve the yam and banana farmer in Muirhouse, St. Anna, and the coffee farmers in Landui and St. Thomas?
Meanwhile, Mark Golding says the next PNP government will move towards a system of independent oversight of road projects.
There is an urgent need for independent oversight, for better planning, and for technological integration to ensure taxpayer funds are effectively spent. Indeed, the sudden announcement of World Bank involvement signals that restructuring and urgent institutional strengthening are overdue. We will establish a comprehensive drainage program, working from a detailed list of the priority areas that need urgent attention across the country. We have already compiled that list with expert assistance. Mr. Speaker, we are ready to govern Jamaica.
And the opposition leader says the PNP will establish an agricultural development fund to provide financial support to local food producers.
We will fund it from the existing import taxes on food. For example, an earmarked allocation of 1% of current food imports would raise approximately $2.5 billion per annum for that fund. Our vision is to provide much needed assistance for local farmers in relation to essential inputs like tools, equipment and machinery, water storage and irrigation systems, and to help them with land preparation and to produce storage facilities and access to finance.
He says the fund will be instrumental in reducing post-harvest losses. Golding adds that the PNP will strengthen Jamaica's food security and expand the irrigation and research capabilities in the sector by implementing a program dubbed SMART. SMART stands for Sustainable Management of Agriculture through Research and Technology.
Increasing the productivity of our farmers through the introduction of improved climate-smart farming systems and technology-driven farming operations. Repairing farm roads to enable our farmers to access the farms and transport their produce to market. Engaging major private sector players in poultry, agro-processing, milk and livestock production to create an enabling environment that they require so that they can expand their already very significant contribution to the sector.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. Energy Minister Daryl Vaz says the country remains on track to generate 50% of its electricity needs from renewable sources by the year 2030. He was highlighting the progress being made to build out wind and solar farms, which will come online in 2027.
In November 2024, the Generation Procurement Entity awarded 99.83 megawatts of new solar capacity contract to Wigton Energy Limited and Sunterra Energy Jamaica Limited. Both bidders have obtained their generation licenses from the ministry, and their implementation scheduled completion is expected by 2027.
The minister was speaking at a press briefing held at his ministry's headquarters on Trafalgar Road in Kingston on Tuesday. The 50% renewable energy goal forms part of the government's plan to attain reduced reliance on expensive imported fossil fuels. The plan prioritizes wind, hydro and solar as primary energy sources and battery energy storage systems for grid stability, reliability and efficiency. Minister Vaz also announced the expansion of utility-scale renewable projects that are set to come on stream later in 2025.
An additional 220 megawatts of utility-scale renewables with storage will be competitively procured in 2025, alongside JPS's replacement of 171.5 megawatts of retiring fossil fuel units using only renewables, which will bring renewables electricity generation close to 48% when the projects are connected to the grid.
Daryl Vaz, Energy Minister. The Chief Executive Officer of National Commercial Bank, NCB, Bruce Bowen, says the reopening of its St. Anne's Bay branch forms part of efforts to expand the service delivery to customers. He was speaking Monday night at the reopening of NCB's St. Anne's Bay Financial Center.
We are driven by this vision of building a better Jamaica. How we're going to do that as a financial institution is making sure that we're your financial institution of choice, that we are anchoring that primary relationship so that you trust us with that. We're helping you grow wealth, and that we're going to build an organization that's delivering world-class standards, raising that standard so that you're not getting the service and the products that you would is acceptable for Jamaica, but that are world-class, that would be competing in any market globally.
Bruce Bowen, CEO of NCB. NCB says after adjusting the branch's operating model in recent years, it heard the concerns of customers and the business community and it took action. That included renovating the branch and reinstating the services customers consider most important to their lives and livelihood. NCB Chairman Michael Lee Chin stressed that NCB was committed to improving customer experience and wealth creation.
At the end of the day, you pay the bills. So we therefore have to be respectful of those who pay the bills and treat you in the way in which you deserve, with respect, with humility and with gratitude.
That's Michael Lee Chin, the chairman of NCB. Regional news now. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, is meeting with the Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. The talks are expected to help ease rising tension over the disputed Essequibo region. Dr. Gonsalves had an initial meeting with President Maduro on Tuesday. He met with the President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, on Monday. Dr. Gonsalves is urging calm and restraint and for both parties to return to diplomacy in the interest of maintaining economic and social stability for the entire Latin American and Caribbean region. The Essequibo area lies west of the Essequibo River. The territory, including the Venezuela-controlled Ancocco Island, is controlled by Guyana as part of its regions. It is also claimed by Venezuela as the Guyana Essequibo state. Further afield, Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to a temporary halt to attacks on Ukrainian energy facilities. He, however, declined to endorse a full 30-day ceasefire that President Trump hoped would be the first step towards a permanent peace deal. Ukraine said it would support the scaled-back agreement, which would require both countries to hold off firing on each other's energy infrastructure for about a month. Experts say Putin avoided making significant concessions in what could be a play for time as Russian troops advance in eastern Ukraine. The White House said talks on a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, as well as a more complete ceasefire and a permanent peace deal, would begin immediately. This following a lengthy call between Trump and Putin on Tuesday. It was unclear whether Ukraine would be involved in those talks. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, or 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Trans-Jam highways. The T-Tag system reduces the amount of cash handled at our toll plazas and makes it safer for our staff and motorists at the toll booths. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted to only $1,500, including a $500 toll credit from now until March 31st.
The Conference of Choice is back. Join us April 29 to 30 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel Kingston and online for the world's only Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Hear from 30 business leaders across 4 continents. Expand your network, gain strategies, and elevate your leadership. Learn, connect, and grow with experts. Limited on-site spaces available. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-60022. MMC 2025, a legacy of transformation and execution.
When you see opportunity, make sure you take it. So when I got a piece of land to grow things, I jumped at it. With my Jane Bank small business loan, I grew the opportunity. I've reaped a whole new life for my family. Now my goods supply plenty market across the parish. Jane Bank helps you grow your business with the Jane Bank small business loan that is perfect for you. Borrow from $10,000 up to $1.5 million to help cover expenses. Visit janebank.com to get started today. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning again, Ludlow.
Morning again, George. Second time around, and it's still bright and sunny. But guess what? The roadways are much busier now as compared to this morning. Remember, I told you the sun is really bright if you're on your the westbound side and you're heading east. Whether if you're on the boulevard, if you're on Spanish Town Road, if you're on that Marcus Garvey Drive, if you're heading out to Harborview, the sun will be in your eyes. The situation, it's inevitable. The Mandela Highway, Washington Boulevard, the Mandela Highway, 6 miles towards 3 miles, that's bumper to bumper at the moment. Waymouth Drive also has traffic because some of the traffic is leaving the boulevard and trying to make it onto Waymouth Drive. So you have a bit of traffic along Waymouth Drive heading on to Washington, to Spanish Town Road. 3 miles busy, and it remains busy. If you're in that area and you want to get to maybe Half a Tree, there's Henley Road, that's in the Waterhouse community, and also Penwood Road. Those areas, no problems with traffic. However, when you get onto Bay Farm Road, you're going to have a little traffic at the intersection of Bay Farm Road and Seaward Drive. Seaward Drive, it's okay, no problem heading down towards the Hagley Park region there. And if you're on Waltham, you're going to have a little bit of right between Newark Avenue and Teasing Avenue there, going around towards Hagley Park Road. But when you go Hagley Park Road, especially at the intersection of Hagley and Wood Glen, and then from there onto Eastwood Park Road, that's where you're going to have the traffic. All right, there's traffic in many other areas. Half a Tree Road, as usual, has traffic coming all the way down southbound. Oxford Road is another area that has traffic. And if you're coming up from Half a Tree Road there, from Crossroads, you're also going to have traffic on Half a Tree Road. Most of it is trying to go onto Oxford Road. And on the other side, Old Up Road also has some traffic. Now, if you go around further towards Redcombe and all that, it is also busy. Camp Road, going further down to South Camp Road, coming out of Miriam Road, that's in the Vineyard Town area. Those areas are building at the moment. So there you go. It's a very busy Wednesday morning, and the traffic continues. Remember, not after this report, you'll also have traffic. And midday traffic also. So take it easy on our roads. And as usual, at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. George, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there with Street Smarts 2. Up next, Front Page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, turning our attention to the budget presentation of the opposition leader that was done in the House of Representatives yesterday as the budget debates continue. The opposition leader, Mark Golding, says the government is attempting to hide its failure to uplift the Jamaican people behind macroeconomic statistics. He made the claim as he delivered his contribution to the 2025-26 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. In some of his pointed remarks in the debate, Mr. Golding accused the Holness administration of selling off Jamaica's future to keep itself in power. Mahir Stewart has that story.
The opposition leader says the reality of the average Jamaican cannot be covered up by statistics such as record low unemployment.
If employment is increasing, but your economy is not growing, it means that productivity is falling. If employment is increasing, but national wealth is stagnant, it means that jobs are being created, but they are low-paying jobs that cannot sustain a decent quality of life. Mr. Speaker, you cannot use statistics to tell a struggling man that he is not struggling. You cannot use statistics to tell a hungry child that she is not hungry, or an underpaid worker that he or she is doing well in life. People know what the reality of their lives is.
Mr. Golding says many Jamaicans are suffering from food insecurity, underemployment, and a poor standard of living. He says this has been caused by 9 years of low growth, despite the strong foundations left by the previous PNP government. The opposition leader says instead, the government is now relying on selling off the assets of the country in order to support its budget. He cited as an example the securitization of 12 years of revenues from the Norman Manley International Airport to fund the current budget. The PNP president says based on the information from the upcoming budget, there are more deals like this to come.
Recurrent expenditures ought properly to be funded from revenues generated in the year in which those expenditures are incurred, not by selling off future income and leaving the cupboard empty for years to come. And it has been confirmed that another large sale of future income is to take place in the coming year. However, despite my asking, no further details have been provided. Clearly, Mr. Speaker, this will be another run-with-it transaction, selling off future revenues to fund expenditures for this year's budget. In other words, further emptying the cupboard in the coming years with nothing lasting to show for it. This is not sound fiscal management.
The opposition leader says it will be left up to the PNP to pick up the pieces.
The undeniable facts are that this government has mismanaged the economy and has failed to build on the strong growth, from the fiscal gains that we engineered when we were last in government. Jamaica cannot continue this way. Things have to change.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
For reactions now on the opposition leader's budget presentation, we're being joined by public commentator Lloyd B. Smith, financial analyst and chartered accountant Dennis Chung, and economic and political commentator and opposition junior spokesperson on finance and planning, Cleveland Tomlinson. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for
joining. Tana and George. Good morning to your listeners.
Lloyd B. Smith, Dennis Chung, Cleveland Tomlinson. Let's begin with you, Lloyd B. Smith. You had said leading up to the budget presentation of the opposition leader that he shouldn't come with any pie in the sky sort of presentation. Yesterday, what you heard from the opposition leader, did he meet the mark on presenting solid ideas, and was the presentation credible?
I think for the most part, he did come with a plethora of ideas, some of which clearly have merit in terms of the backdrop of what he said about that despite the macroeconomic indicators still look favorable, for which the honest administration should be commended. But at the same time, the harsh reality is that many persons out there are suffering economically and otherwise. And having zeroed in on that and then set about to present a raft of programs and policy directives which would assist these very same persons, I think that was going in the right direction.
Some people coming away from the budget presentation, they've come away with the criticism that not enough was done in relation to costing many of these ideas that the opposition leader presented. Do you think he lost some credibility points by not giving more comprehensive costing to these ideas, plans that he announced yesterday?
There is some truth in that, but the reality is that in a budget presentation, which in fact he went on quite long, I thought, it might be difficult to some extent to really dig deep into all the mathematical data that has to be presented along with the ideas to show how these ideas will be fleshed out and funded. I suspect that in future presentations or in certain other fora, he would be able to expand on that and should in fact do so if his ideas are not to be seen as mere empty promises.
What do you make of this, Dennis Chung? It has been a criticism since his budget presentation on social media, other persons analyzing the budget presentation saying, okay, great ideas that were presented by the opposition leader, but we wish there was more on the costing for some of these big ideas that the opposition leader announced. What did you make of his presentation and that criticism as well?
Yeah, so let me start with that on the costing. I disagree with Lloyd. I think that there is enough information there that it could be costing. Now, why the costing is so important is remember that we are, as a country, embarking on a path of fiscal discipline. Now, the presentation in terms of, you're making grandiose promises and this sort of thing, all of those things are very good. I can guarantee you that if those things were to happen tomorrow, then we would be delighted. But those things are things that we've seen in past presentations. And what every time we got presentations like those without understanding the costings behind it, we've had significant situations where we had fiscal deficits. I remember in 2013 the economy almost dropped off a cliff. So we could. So for example, you talk about the money that you're going to give to persons who apply for NHT. We know approximately how many people there are, right? We could do a quick analysis on that and see what that comes out to, right? All the other things, the one he spoke about, the $1 billion. So if you add up all of those things, where are we in terms of the fiscal accounts? Because remember, as I said, that is very important. And in the past, what has happened is that we've come up with all of these things, and therefore we've had to say to persons, okay, I'll give you $1, but guess what? I'm going to tax you $1 too. That's what we've had. Now, we want to maintain a situation where we don't have any new taxes, right? So we're gone 8-9 years now of that. And we also want to maintain fiscal surplus. It's important for us if we're going to get down to a debt to GDP of 60% and below, which has allowed us to improve our capex. Because remember what has happened in the past, and I remember specifically in the 1990s when we were trying to balance the fiscal books. What would happen is that capex would suffer. So what you're seeing right now, right, and both the opposition even Prime Minister did speak to it, in terms of the poor infrastructure, is because we were cutting the capex drastically during that time. So any presentation that's made now, I mean, the ideas are good, but I'd love to know what the costing is behind it. How is that going to impact us fiscally? And also, what is the timing behind it, right? Because I can say to you, boy, you know, I'm going to fly you to the moon, but when are you going to fly me to the moon, right? And these things are important for us to know. And you know, the opposition leader did speak to the fact that, you know, the macro numbers are looking good and improving, and those things are important for measurement, but then people are suffering. But guess what? It has always been like that, because from 1972 until now, labor productivity has been falling. So even though, right, we've always had macroeconomic numbers going up and down, and, you know, the fact of the matter is that people will continue to suffer until labor productivity improves. And we're not doing what we need to do in order to change that situation. Since 2013, the IMF agreement said what we need to do.
Gentlemen, stay on the line. After the break, Cleveland bring you in as well.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:34.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. It continues to be 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville at 7:34.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
Taxpayers, if you have outstanding taxes, now is the time to apply for the Special Arrears Settlement Program. Pay outstanding principal amounts on corporate and individual income tax, education tax, pay as you earn, GCT, special consumption tax, asset tax, and partnership income tax. To get interest, penalties, and surcharges waived. GCT filers, to benefit, you must submit your application in writing. Offer available until March 31. Don't miss out. For more information, visit www.jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-829-4357. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Digicel, live life your way, not free what? Digicel Postpaid. With Digicel Postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for 2 to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, assessing the budget presentation of the opposition leader Mark Golding yesterday. Going to bring in now economic and political commentator and the opposition junior spokesperson on finance and planning, Cleveland Tomlinson. Cleveland, what was the overarching message that the opposition leader intended to send yesterday to the Jamaican people in his 3-hour-long budget presentation?
Right. That under his government, and thank you for having me, Tana.
Yeah.
The overarching message that he sent to the Jamaican people is that under his leadership, that the government will be people-centered, focusing on real solutions for working Jamaicans, small businesses, and vulnerable communities. I think if you ask the average Jamaican what were his expectations of the leader of the opposition, he would tell you that the expectation that he had would be for the opposition leader to present a contrast to the administration, outlining a comprehensive plan to tackle some of the country's most pressing challenges, and to present to him a direction that he would take the country. And I think you got that kind of articulation from the leader of the opposition. I've heard the argument, and I heard Dennis. I more agree with Lloyd. I heard.
You don't think the criticism is a fair one?
I think it's premature as of now. It is a responsibility that we're not seeking to divorce ourselves from. We are acutely aware that it is expected for us to indicate how these things will be funded and costed. It's not a responsibility we're seeking to circumvent. However, I think it could be interpreted as premature to expect that in the budget presentation that historically has been treated by the leaders of the political parties, the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, as a state of the nation debate, where they speak all-encompassing on the issues impacting every corner of Jamaica. I think that you are not going to expect that he will get into the nitty-gritty and the mathematical models.
No, Cleveland. No. Sorry, my friend.
Exactly.
No, good morning, Cleveland.
Good morning,
no. Let me interrupt. What you say is, I would accept that, were this not an election year. So, of the 4 previous presentations that Mark Jefferson Golding made in the Parliament, if you had given me that overarching view in terms of what his mission was and the state of the nation-esque nature of his presentation, and how you couldn't expect that in that kind of assessment that he'd be giving you costing for plans, I'd take that without reservation, and I wouldn't have framed my criticism the way I did this morning. But this is an election year. Mark Golding is a man who says the time has come for change. He's saying to the Jamaican people, you need to choose us because of these things. And yet, these things that he put up on the table, he did not tell us how much they would cost, when we already know what Holness, Favour Williams and their team plan to spend to pursue the policies that they dangle in front of the Jamaican people to say, keep us in power. So if you're talking about a contrast, Mr. Golding's contrast presentation lacked the pepper lights, is my submission.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that, George, but I think it's clearly established that the opposition leader will have many more opportunities to engage the Jamaican people. You're making it seem as if, George, that the opposition leader is confined singularly to the budget debate to tell the Jamaican people how some of the initiatives that he has announced will be funded. And that is why I said it's a premature criticism to be made, because one day has not passed since the opposition leader made his announcement. And what I'm telling you is that over the course of the weeks and days to come, we will be engaging with the Jamaican people to indicate many of the ways in which we'll be funding it. But what I want to make absolutely clear...
Hold on, Cleveland, before you leave that point, and it was clear it was good to allow you to get it out. All right, fine. So on the point of being premature, remember, and I would have said this to Lloyd B. based on his comment as well, we never thought, well, certainly for myself, I never expected Mark Golding yesterday to, in the moment he starts speaking, to extemporaneously tell me about those NHT plans, which are very nice sounding, as I said, very good on paper. And then, while speaking off the top of his head about NHT, because they came to him as he spoke, give me the costing. No, Mr. Golding's 3-hour presentation yesterday, you know this better than all of us, was the product of weeks and months of planning. And in the same way, Mr. Golding told us that he called the finance ministry to inquire about big forward sale moves that the government would make in the same way that they are dealing with the NMIA securitization and, of course, Trans-Jamaica Highway. He sought after those details to inform himself. I'm asking, how is it that in the planning for yesterday's presentation, which was a set-piece opportunity, which was meticulous, which you and many others put several hours and days and months and weeks into, how come it never had the costing, Cleveland? That's the point. That's the question you have to answer this morning.
Again, George, I don't think you have responded to the core of the argument that I presented. That the opposition leader did not give in granular details as you have articulated, as you are desiring, how many of the initiatives will be funded is not a disqualification. Because I think I said a while ago, George, that he is not confined to that moment, and he will have many other opportunities to engage the Jamaican people. What I want to make clear for the Jamaican people to understand that the People's National Party is committed to fiscal responsibility, and the initiatives that he announced yesterday will be funded from the existing fiscal envelope. I heard Dennis making reference to what obtained in the past, whereby administrations increase taxes. I want to make it categorically clear for the Jamaican people. And it has been said by our spokesperson in finance that the People's National Party does not intend to increase existing tax rates, nor does it intend to add any new tax to the Jamaican people's tax burden.
May I say this to you then? May I say this to you then? And it would have been good if Mark Golding had made the articulation as clear on tax as you did just now yesterday.
And I will tell you something.
Yes.
I will tell you something.
Yes.
I want to add this. I
Yes.
think we need to have a better understanding of the budget and government fiscal capacity.
Yeah, but hold on. Okay, go on. Go ahead.
About a third of the budget that is presented in each fiscal year has discretionary spending. About a third, which is upwards of $400 billion. That and how it is expended depends on the priorities.
Which is why, in the context of the discretionary spend that is built into the budget, Cleveland, and there are many of us who know how these things work, you would appreciate. It is in the context of the discretionary spending that Mark Golding should have said that, look, this big idea is going to cost this. You spoke about granular detail. I never asked for granular detail. We all know what granular means. And to tell me that the NHT, the rent-to-own facility for those without a payslip or for those in the informal sector will cost X billion, that's not a granular detail, because granular is getting line by line. We all know what granular means. So I'm saying that for the presentation, 3 hours long, and there were several things put on the table as proposals. No one is asking Mark Golding to have told us the costing for every... Hold on. No one is asking for a costing to have been attached to every line item. I'm busying myself and concerning myself with the centerpiece of his presentation, because there is no doubt that NHT was the big play. And the big play lacked costing. And I'm saying to you, Cleveland, that there is no way that you can ask the Jamaican people to accept that the centerpiece of the opposition leader's presentation lacked that important detail, and we should accept it and not be premature about the demand.
No, George, you and I, we can't agree on that particular point. We can't, particularly because the opposition leader over the coming weeks and days will be able to engage with the Jamaican people to attach the very same thing that you have asked for in his presentation.
Why is he withholding it then until later next week, Cleveland, or next week? Why would he withhold it? Yeah.
You know, George, that it was not provided in the budget debate, George, doesn't mean it does not exist.
I never say it not exists, Cleveland, which is why I'm saying. But Cleveland, I hear you coming in, Dennis. I'm going to give you a chance. But hold on, Cleveland. Let's just straighten this out, Cleveland. I'm saying the fact that I ask why is he withholding it means it exists and he didn't put it on the table. So I'm not questioning its existence. But why withhold it in the centerpiece presentation when you have the nation's attention captive?
No, George, you don't know whatever strategy the opposition leader has in terms of how it will sharpen its communication to give that kind of information to the Jamaican people. So I think your criticism now or your question will be legitimate if nothing is said in the months to come.
Okay.
But to after it is said in the budget debate or the morning after, I regard that to be
Let's take a break and when we come back. Cleveland, just for order, Cleveland. You're going to get the chance to continue after the break, and Dennis as well. Lloyd B has to go. Lloyd B, we lost Lloyd B has to go. All right, let's take the break and when we come back. Dennis, I'll hear from you, and of course, Cleveland can continue.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
7:47.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated One staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best, because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy. Pharmacy, everything exceptional.
Yes, me get the last cheese. Taste the beat. Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have cheese. Taste the beat. But one day we get no bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Serve, sell me some bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Why, this looking nice with some tasty cheese. Taste the beat. Can I have some cheese, please? Taste the beat. Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy. We have the rhythm and the tins for you all, Easter.
Do you need a copy of your property title? Visit eLand Jamaica to get quick access to land-related information anytime, anywhere in the world. You can also access our free integrated map from the comfort of your home or office without having to visit us. All you need is internet access and your credit card to access eLand Jamaica at nla.gov.jm or call the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 for more information. eLand Jamaica, your guide to Jamaica's land information anywhere, anytime.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO. IPO with Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
At Active Home Center, we've got everything you need to create that perfect spa retreat. From comfort height toilets to the widest selection in faucets and shower enclosures to stylish tubs and the latest trends in bathroom cabinets in various sizes. Our bathroom collection has the perfect fit for every space and every budget. Your relaxing retreat starts here. Visit our showroom in Kingston at 84 Constance Spring Road or Montego Bay at Barnett Tech Park. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Still having a conversation about the budget presentation of the opposition leader yesterday. And we're on the point of this criticism that has been raised by some since yesterday about costings. They wanted, a bit more comprehensive costings on the ideas and plans announced by the opposition leader. Cleveland Tomlinson, who is the opposition junior spokesperson on finance and planning, is saying, criticism is a bit premature because the opposition leader will have opportunities over the coming weeks and days to come to the Jamaican people and give in more detail the costings to many of the ideas he announced yesterday. Cleveland, I'm going to allow you to complete your point, and then Dennis wanted to come in.
Right. So I was really indicating the fiscal responsible approach that the PNP will take. And what we have to appreciate is that the PNP is seized of the need to maintain that fiscal responsibility. In fact, we enshrined it into law. I heard Dennis referring to bringing down the debt to 60% of GDP. We must recall that it was the PNP government that passed the Financial Administration Audit Act, that lays out the trajectory of when debt will be reduced and by when we will reduce it to 60% of GDP. PNP put that in law. So we strengthened the fiscal rules. So I want Dennis to understand and the Jamaican people to know that we are acutely aware of the imperative of maintaining this status quo. So nothing that the PNP has announced, or that the leader has said, will be done in a way that jeopardizes this macroeconomic stability and fiscal responsibility. The Jamaican people can be assured of that because it was strengthened by us. You know, it was a botched approach between 2011 to 7 by the JLP administration then. We came in, we took it over and strengthened it. So we are seized of that responsibility.
Dennis?
Yeah, so let me start, Cleveland, by saying to you, as a young man, I won't give you a piece of advice. You must always come and say things that are credible, right? Don't say things just because you're defending a position.
Hold
on, Cleveland.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. The first thing I said, and George will recall, when the Minister of Finance made her presentation, is that the most important thing for me was that everything was being done within the context of a fiscal surplus. Because for me, that's the most important thing. So when I'm listening to a presentation, right, because of the history, I know what has been promised in the past, and I know that things have been promised, and then we get another tax or we have a fiscal deficit. And in 2013, I was very instrumental at the PSOG at the time in understanding what was happening and knowing that the country almost fell off a cliff. I don't want to go back there. So the central point of everything right now is the fiscal, right? I can tell you anything that you want to hear, right? And that is why I never get caught in no Ponzi scheme. Because when people came to me with it, I said, listen, if I can't see a set of audited financial statements, because I'm an accountant, I'm not buying it. You can tell me anything you want. You can tell me that you're making 100% a year. Show me the numbers. Right, and that's what I'm saying. So, and you've said, Cleveland, and I agree. A lot of the things that Mark said was very good. Those are initiatives that a lot of them are being done now. A lot of them that he mentioned are very good. And all I want to know is when will it happen, and also what the cost is. Because when I look at the situation, the road thing, right? One of the challenges why we have poor infrastructure, and I went back to what happened in the 90s with cutting CapEx, is because we couldn't afford it. We don't want to get back
Beautiful. I respond to that.
In a country where we can't afford to get these things, and therefore the fiscal is important. So if it is that things are going to be mentioned in the next few days, then when the presentation is being made, let us know at that time, because one of the things I'm an accountant, but I'm not a mind reader. So let me know at that time that, hey, these are things that we want to do, and we're going to flesh it out so that criticism will not come. We can say, okay, we'll have the expectation that, okay, fine, these are things. Let us hear now over the next few days how it is going to be done.
Well, Tana, you must allow me to respond. Respectfully, Dennis was out of order a while ago to peddle the argument that, I'm not being credible because I am supporting a political party. What he should do is to point out precisely the statement that I said that is not credible, and let's argue the merit of that statement. He cannot, because ultimately we are converging on the importance of fiscal responsibility. I guess he chose to disregard what I said about the PNP understanding the need to maintain that sort of fiscal responsibility. On the point of the capital expenditure, then it should note that for the last 2 fiscal years, this administration has underspent the capital budget cumulatively by over $25 billion in the fiscal year. And he should know this, but he's trying not to be credible. But anyway, but in this fiscal year, allow me to speak.
The reason for that is
hold on, Dennis.
Do not interrupt me. In the fiscal year that is ending, this administration has underspent the capital budget by $17 billion. The capital budget is chiefly the part of the overall budget that advances growth. The PNP seized on why growth, must be advanced and therefore will not cut or reduce the capital budget. In fact, to fund recurrent expenditure. In fact, what we will seek to do is to ensure that every dime allocated in the capital expenditure is expended and that none is returned. And
But Cleveland,
we're going to bring efficiency in government. We're going to reform the public procurement system. We're going to ensure that everything allocated in the capital budget is spent.
Cleveland, a part of what Dennis is saying, before I bring you back in, Dennis, is that you have prime time in the budget presentation where a lot of Jamaicans are paying attention to what you're saying, right? And you come and you say, okay, you have all of these grand ideas. And you also say to the Jamaican people that you are committed to fiscal responsibility. And then you don't bolster that, right, with comprehensive costings then to the ideas or the plans that you're putting on the table. So that leaves people to walk away with whether or not, your budget, what you're presenting is completely credible and with proper timelines and fiscal costings.
No, not necessarily, Tana. I don't think I share that position. I think, again, if you ask the average Jamaican, did Mark meet the expectation? I think the average Jamaican will tell you yes. Because the average Jamaican wants to know, overarchingly, what is the direction in which a Mark Golding government would take Jamaica. Yeah. And that does not, disqualify the argument that there needs to be some degree of costing. What I'm saying is that, hold on, George. Yeah. What I'm saying is that in that particular moment, the need to tell the Jamaican people precisely how everything will be funded, particularly, is not needed.
Yeah, but we never asked Cleveland. We never asked for everything to be costed, and we need to agree on that. Yeah. Anyway, Dennis, I want to hear your response to Cleveland's rejoinder about capex and your understanding of that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I totally agree with Cleveland that the spend is the underspend is unacceptable. Yeah. Now, there are two things at play. Number one is that the reason why we were able to have such a significant underspend is because the provision was made in the first place, right? And that is a move in a good direction, that the provision was made, because that's what I was speaking to, that on the fiscal side, in terms of the provision, we did not have enough capex being provided for. But
and that's what I was going to correct you to say, Dennis. The only thing is that you spoke about capex being cut in the 90s, and I was saying no, there was no space for any capex.
Right, and that is why it was cut. So we would have provided, for example, $30 billion at the start of the budget, but by the time the supplemental came out, you cut out half of that, right? So it wasn't even available for spending. Now, the other thing that Cleveland mentioned, I agree with, the procurement. And one of the things that we spoke about, George, when the minister made the presentation, is he did not hear anything about how the procurement is going to be improved.
Well, actually, we spoke about that before she spoke, to say that that's one of the things she needed to deal with, because that was what was keeping the capex in the bank account rather than being spent.
And that is very important. Yeah. And I've always spoken
but importantly,
hold on, Cleveland. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, I've always spoken about the inefficiency of the procurement route, and we need to address that.
Yeah.
Irrespective of who is there, we need to address that, and we've made that criticism that point was not brought out and has not been brought out yet in the debate. What I've seen now is that Ambassador Marks has been appointed as a minister with responsibility to improve the procurement, and that's a good move.
Yeah.
But we need to improve that, because George, this capex being provided and then not being spent is the same thing like the promises we talk about that has been made year in, year out, and it don't happen,
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Cleveland, let me hear you now, Cleveland.
Firstly, I'm very heartened that Dennis agrees with me. Thank you for that, Dennis. But I think importantly, what we must correct is that the underspent in the capital budget, the monies that were not spent, not all of that money returned to the consolidated fund. Some of it was reappropriated to recurrent expenditure. And I think in the articulation from Dennis, that is something he's seeking to avoid under a PNP government, which has been done.
No. That is because of the zero-based
some has been returned to the consolidated fund, but some has been reappropriated to recurrent expenditure, which is what you are saying that we shouldn't do.
But Cleveland, if I may say so, hold on, gentlemen, hold on. Let me author a detente in the conversation. Hold on now. Here's the thing, gentlemen. Cleveland, I understand the position that you have and the position that you are defending. That's fine. But I'm saying to you, sir, I chuckled to myself when I heard you say that if you ask the average Jamaican if Golding make the mark in terms of giving them an alternative, they would say yes. And I marveled because you've done that survey very fast. But I'm saying to you that the fact of the numbers not being attached to Mr. Golding's centerpiece idea cannot not be a problem. We didn't. Nobody asked for the whole budget, everything him saying I'm gonna do to have a cost, because that would be madness. We said, just to make it clear, we said that for spending so much time preparing, and of course you couldn't deny that you spent a lot of time preparing because you had to and you did. For spending so much time preparing to not cost the crown jewel of what you will do when you get into government, for me, is unforgivable almost.
No, I can't agree with you.
Of course you can't. Of course you can't.
That's fine. My own understanding of this is that I don't support that narrative. Because the absence of what the cost is does not reduces the merit.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But Cleveland, it has to. Cleveland, it has to. It has to.
It doesn't when there is the opportunity for him to come and explain and tell the Jamaican people, which is the intent. So for you to prematurely hold up the idea with the expectation that it must be said in that moment and in its absence, that there cannot be an appropriate critique of the presentation, I find is woefully unacceptable.
I say this to you, Cleveland. Your pivot word is premature. My pivot word is retarded. The retardation of the communication to the Jamaican people in captive time is, in my view, unforgivable, and on that very important point we disagree. We have to go, gentlemen. We're out of time. We will, of course we will disagree. Yes, that's fine. Dennis, thank you this morning. Cleveland, thank you.
Yeah, man. All right.
Very well. Take care.
Yeah.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:04.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and 18 degrees at 8 o'clock. No, Mr. King, something wrong with that temperature reader today. Something all right.
It's the cold front.
Something all right.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
In Across Jamaica this Wednesday morning, Jamaican poet Yashika Graham has been shortlisted for the 2025 OCM Bocas Prize for Poetry. Graham, a native of Westmoreland, is a graduate of the University of the West Indies and an honorary fellow in the University of Iowa's International Writing Program. The Bocas nod is for her debut collection titled Some of Us Can Go Back Home. The work is a lyrical exploration of home identity and self-discovery. It is rooted in Jamaica's rich heritage and rural landscape and explores love, loss, healing, and the search for belonging. The OCM Bocas Prize is one of the most prestigious literary awards in the Caribbean. It celebrates the best of Caribbean literature published in the preceding year. The winner of the OCM Bocas Prize for Poetry, along with the winners in fiction and non-fiction, will be announced in April. They will then compete for the overall OCM Bocas Prize, which carries a cash award of $10,000. That announcement is expected in May 3 or on May 3, 2025, during the 15th annual Bocas Lit Fest in Port of Spain, Trinidad. Jamaica's largest four-lane bridge, currently under construction over the Montego River in St. James, is 95% complete. This was disclosed by the National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROC, on Tuesday. NROC says the bridge, which is 180 meters long, is a signature piece in the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project. The Perimeter Road stretches from the vicinity of the Freeport Police Station on Alice Eldemeyer Drive to the North Coast Highway, adjacent to the Blue Diamond Shopping Center in Ironshore. Its main components are the 15-kilometer Montego Bay Bypass, the 11-kilometer Long Hill Bypass, and upgrading works to be done to main roads such as Barnett Street and West Green Avenue. NROC says the project is on schedule for completion in May 2026. 3 people have been charged in relation to operations across several communities in St. Mary on Sunday. Charged are 20-year-old Alex Robinson of Almond Tree Gale, 46-year-old Kira Sterling of Bailey's Vale, and 59-year-old Donovan Oliphant, also of Bailey's Vale. Robinson is charged with the possession of identification information. Sterling is charged with possession of an offensive weapon, and Oliphant is charged with possession of uncustomed goods. According to reports from the St. Mary Police, a joint police military operation was conducted in the communities of Bailey's Vale, Gale, Orocabessa, and Port Maria in the parish. They say during the operations, several premises were searched and several road blocks mounted. The 3 were nabbed in the process. They were charged following interviews conducted in the presence of their attorneys. Meanwhile, the police say they issued 36 tickets for breaches of the Road Traffic Act and seized 6 motor vehicles on the day. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Wednesday morning.
So, Bonnie, you renew your road license yet?
Babes, the road have me away. I can't even find time, but you know money for me.
Because see, I shall out them money the back for late fee and record fee when you sit down make your road license expire for you.
Well, transport authority so we can apply online. And that may go to now.
Operators of public passenger vehicles and commercial carriers, renew your road license before April 1 and avoid late penalty. A message from the Transport Authority.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Total Tools is now open in Drax Hall. Mondays to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and open on holidays. Visit them at Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne. Telephone 876-972-6328 or 876-373-2729. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade. Fit Nation is brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
You wanna hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work. You want a Lamborghini? Sip martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work. You wanna live fancy, live in a big mansion, party in France. You better work, work. You better work, work. You better work, work. You better work, work. Now get to work. Now get to work.
That time of morning, it's time for Fit Nation. In Fit Nation this morning, we're focusing on how sleep affects fitness. So diet, exercise, and sleep are three pillars of a healthy life. Improving just one of these lifestyle factors can help people lead longer lives. While diet, exercise, and sleep influence one another in complex and innumerable ways, improving all three may be more beneficial for both physical and mental health. Sleep offers the body and brain time to restore and recover, affecting nearly every tissue in the body. Most adults need at least 7 hours of sleep, yet almost a large number of people are getting less than that. Sleep deprivation increases the risk of health conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Prolonged sleep deprivation can also affect concentration and other cognitive functions. Without enough sleep, people tend to overeat and choose unhealthy foods. Sleep deprivation affects the body's release of ghrelin and leptin, two neurotransmitters that tell the brain when to consume calories. Did you know that? People who are sleep deprived are more drawn toward high-calorie foods. Chronic sleep loss has been linked to having a larger waist circumference and an increased risk of obesity. Sleep allows muscle tissue time to recover between workouts. Sufficient sleep is also important in having the energy to exercise. Not getting enough sleep can lead to being less physically active during the day and reduced muscle strength during workouts. Sleep deprivation can also affect the safety of exercise, with increased sports injuries reported in those who are sleep deprived. So while trying to manage a busy, hectic life, it is understandable to want to prioritize activities that provide the most benefit. Unfortunately, diet, exercise, and sleep are so deeply intertwined, it is impossible, or it's not possible, to say that one is more important than the others. Improving sleep through diet and exercise now. While most people know that diet and exercise are two important ways to improve their health, sleep is often overlooked. Sleep hygiene, which involves habits that promote quality sleep, can be a starting point for improving your sleep. So here are some tips. Do not eat too late. Be sure to give your body time to digest after eating large meals. So try having dinner earlier in the evening. Somebody don't call you at 9:30, you say you're just having dinner. Okay? At number 2, avoid caffeine. Beware of stimulants like coffee, energy drinks, and soda. If you do consume these, try to limit them to early in the day. And move your body. Schedule regular exercise to improve your sleep. While any movement during the daytime is beneficial, aim to get regular, moderate exercise a few days a week. Try to avoid working out too close to bedtime as well, giving your body a couple hours after working out to wind down before you go to sleep. Get natural light as well. Try exercising outdoors, as exposure to natural light during the day can help keep your body in sync with its natural sleep rhythms. So that's it for Fit Nation this morning, focusing on how sleep affects fitness.
Fit Nation was brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:16.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
24 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 25 out west in Montego Bay, and still 18 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. Join us for fast and easy registration, informative sessions, one-on-one guidance, and more. Look out for us on March 11, Port Antonio, March 13, May Pen, March 14, Morant Bay, March 18, Mandeville, March 21, Ocho Rios, March 25, Montego Bay, and our last stop, March 28, Halfway Tree. UCC Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. You don't want to miss it. Visit www.ucc.edu.jm for more details.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this
For
on
more
my TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently. But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deep fake.
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Hiring is tough. You spend weeks, maybe months searching but still can't find the right fit. And even when you do, onboarding, payroll, and benefits become another headache. Stop wasting time. Let TalentBox Caribbean do the work at a fraction of the cost. From sourcing to interviewing, we do it all. Don't settle for the wrong hire. Schedule your strategy call today. Call 876-960-0066 or visit www.talentboxcaribbean.com. TalentBox Caribbean, connection made easy.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. Join us for fast and easy registration, informative sessions, one-on-one guidance, and more. Look out for us on March 11, Port Antonio, March 13, May Pen, March 14, Morant Bay, March 18, Mandeville, March 21, Ocho Rios, March 25, Montego Bay, and our last stop, March 28, Halfway Tree. UCC Roadshow, the roadmap to your future. You don't want to miss it. Visit www.ucc.edu.jm for more details.
From corporate events to unforgettable weddings, from thrilling sporting events to vibrant exhibitions. Whatever you're planning, make it unforgettable at the Montego Bay Convention Center, where dreams come to life, where connections are made, where memories are created. For a limited time, get 20% more value on room rentals for March and April events. This isn't just an offer, it's your chance to make a statement. Call 876-619-7661 or visit mbconventioncenter.com.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. Yeah. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. plus crispy bacon, some terrific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, satisfy yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker, built for satisfaction. Limited time, only at Burger King.
Can you imagine? Our producer is kind enough. She woke up in a good spirit this morning, Michelle McCrae Smith. She says we can take calls this morning, but she said only 10 minutes. All right, so call us on 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, 618-8255. Yeah? Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Marky G's presentation? Call and let me know, no? Yeah?
He said a lot for Jamaicans to chew on, consider. And as you said, George, when you have ideas put out, normally, you know, whether it's a good idea when people are out there arguing about it, going back and forth about it.
Yeah.
Were there any of those for you out there?
Yeah.
In the budget presentation? Call us and let us know.
Yeah. I listened through and I read back the text just to make sure that what I heard, and pretty much he followed the text. the part that got me was when he said, Jamaican citizens will have to pay to go to England to access the CCJ. Citizens like me. I said, Mr. Gold, you think easy.
Yes.
Who do we have, Michelle? Dwayne, good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Morning. Yeah, because I feel like a bit burdened down because of what was being said to Smalley and the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't believe that.
His name is Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. I don't believe that Jamaica really wants Jamaica to move forward. I think we want a political party to move forward.
What you mean? Tell me now, Dwayne.
It doesn't. What I mean is that if something is being done good or something is done wrong, it is wrong regardless if my mom or my neighbor do it. No matter who does it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And if it's truth, it's truth. It doesn't matter if my mom or the neighbor does it. You follow what I'm saying? So in other words, if the PNP do something good, it must be applauded.
Yeah.
And if the JLP do something good, it must be applauded, regardless. Because what the guy was trying to say...
What Cleveland? Come on, man, Dwayne, man. Yeah, put some respect on him name, man. You can't just say Cleveland as a young man. Just say Cleveland. Cleveland works, man.
All right, fine. But what may I say? You cannot tell me who have a little knowledge, knowledge to say to see something is important, and you point it out and just to say, I agree with you. You cannot say you agree with the person.
But Dwayne, Dwayne, let me meet you part way. If you go to your wife and say, darling, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put 2 floors on the house, right? We're gonna build atop that 2 floors a parking garage. So I'm going to build a ramp to get all the way up there. And when I build the ramp, I'm going to put 3 spaces because I'm going to get a Range Rover, a Mercedes-Benz, and a BMW for me, you, and we're going to put on one so that when my uncle come from foreign, him can drive to. What do you think of the first question she's going to ask you after she asks you if you're mad? What's the second question she's going to ask you? Not how much it costs. Where you get the money from? Then the natural something that then isn't it natural to ask if you say you're going to? It's not even say the cost alone, Dwayne. You're going to stop draw down the end of NHT 11.4. Fine.
Yes,
and on top of that, I'm going to create this fund. I'm going to do this for people who don't have pay slips. I'm going to do this for people who are in the informal sector. I'm going to do this for young people who are trying to put together the deposit to buy a house. I'm going to do this for public sector workers where their interest rate is concerned. You're going to do so many things. I'm going to repurpose the Housing Agency of Jamaica to build low-income homes. I am going to build 50,000 one-bedroom starter units over the next 5 years. Then, good God, it's not natural to say how much it's going to cost to do that. Isn't it natural?
Because you're not competition now, Because this man say it's 10, and you will say, all right, where did you get the 10 from? And you say, get it from Housing Trust. This man say, all right, you're going to put up 10 too. Where am I get it from? not the housing trust. Where am I get from? Matter of fact, who started the draw down money from the housing trust? So was the PMP?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. They are the one who first started, and then Bruce will come in and continue it. Even though he said he was not going to continue it, and he continued until now. So it's a success of the government. So just as you can point out other errors in the other side, point out your errors so you can get credit for what you do.
Yeah.
All right, and keep on doing, and will do. So why did not point out when you do it too?
Anyway.
And next again you see
Dwayne, I'm squeezing one more. The producer said me have to squeeze in another one before me go home.
All right.
Thank you. Robert, good morning.
Yes, morning. George, this debate with Cleveland this morning.
Yes, sir.
This is what? Isn't this a budget presentation?
Absolutely, sir.
So what is the question here? Why later? This is where you're supposed to present your budget.
The budget.
Yes.
So what is the question he's trying to answer about later? This is the presentation. That this is where you present it to me, isn't it?
And then he tried two clever things, Robert, Cleveland did. And I'm not talking behind his back because I said it to him. He said, one, that I was asking for granular details. I did not ask for granular details. And then he said, I expected a costing for everything. I did not expect a costing for everything, nor did I ask for everything. I said, give me the costing of your centerpiece and move on, and I'd be fine.
But as a voter, if this is the budget I listen to, this is where I want you to present me with everything. So
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Because guess what, Robert? When the PNP is keeping its meeting in Catadupa, Tony, you must stop me from saying Catadupa. You're tired of this abuse the people in
Go
place.
right ahead with Catadupa.
When I'm keeping a PNP meeting in Catadupa, Robert, and I have my Wave contract to stream it, that's not captive to the Jamaican audience because people are going to struggle to find which part is streamed upon YouTube. If there's a TikTok live stream or Instagram live stream or it's on Facebook. Facebook have live stream?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, but when you are in Gordon House, everybody watching you, listening you have captive time. You can talk for 5 hours. Robert, aren't you old enough to remember budget debate go on for the whole day?
Yes.
You don't remember them days there?
Yes.
Exactly. So you have the whole day. You could have talked till 10 o'clock. They have to sit down and listen to you.
Exactly.
Give me the details, man. Give it to me.
That's all. That's the only question I have. Isn't this the budget presentation? Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
My question.
Thank you this morning. Thank you. Okay. All right, Robert. All right, Roy, themself is squeezing. Morning. Roy?
Lost Roy.
But the line them a burn up. Stefan? Morning, Stefan.
Good morning.
Yeah, man. What you saying?
Yes. Well, I was listening to the speech from Mr. Golden.
Mm-hmm.
First, it's a bad speech. It's not a good speech, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I particularly like the thing about the housing trust.
Yeah.
I think that's not a bad idea. Something that we can look at.
Yeah.
But one thing that did raise my eyebrows was when he talked about bringing back Operation Pride.
Yeah. Why? Those who have short memories, Stefan, not gonna understand what we understand it because that was a hell of a thing, you know.
I think we should be looking back that side.
Yeah.
With the program that is in train now, that the Prime Minister has, I think is a good program. Don't scrap that program. If you want to build on it, fine. But don't go back to Operation Pride because that was a disaster.
Roy, while I have you here, here's another thing why costing is important. The government is already pumping about $10 billion into PATH. Yeah, the program of advancement through health and education. Yeah, for children and people who are struggling, right? 10 billion. You say, alongside PATH, you're going to do the EASE program, which seeks to put a nutritious meal in front of every needy student in primary and secondary school. Yeah. What is the cost of that? How could I then build out PATH even more to do the same thing, given that it's doing that pretty much, but you say you're going to build something else? What's the EASE cost versus the PATH cost? And since the Auditor General raised red flags about duplication of programs in her most recent report, yeah, and the PNP had something to say about that as well. So put up the cost to make it say, well, you know what? I think we could roll PATH and EASE together, or we could build out EASE and repurpose PATH or something. But the numbers are important because without the numbers, you lack perspective of whether or not something can work. Exactly. A plan without a budget is a wish list.
I agree. And one quick thing before I leave. In terms of politicians still going to funerals of persons of questionable character. I think they should stop it. Remember, you want to appeal to persons who are not voting.
Suppose I'm going the 9 night, Stefan, you still feel the same way? You feel the same way? Suppose I'm going the 9 night, you going to feel the same way?
They should not be going to any 9 nights. Send your condolences to the family.
All right, so I hear you on that. Let's move on. Hear you loud and clear. Thank you. I agree with you on that. The other thing is this. The rent-to-own aspect of it. There were so many things I didn't get to. I was saying to my friend last night, I called a friend of mine and said, listen, because she was jumping up over it. And I said, hold on there. But the rent-to-own aspect, as I read it in the paper, in the speech, if it is that, I said, look, don't believe that the rent-to-own thing means you go to Kingston 6, up Ligani side, yeah, and rent an apartment, and then the NHT is going to help you to buy that apartment. No, because what Golding said, and he was very clear, it has to be a part of under the NHT rent-to-own program. So I'm imagining that there'll be a designated group of apartments or units under the NHT program that you can then rent to own. It's not any place you can just turn up, rent it, and then say, boy, me go buy it because the NHT rent to own program applies. It can't.
That's my understanding.
There you go. You understand? Yeah. And so there are some things to. I'm surprised Mr. Golding didn't have a press conference yesterday to answer some of these questions and to provide details. But as Cleveland says,
the coming days and
in the coming days and weeks. Yeah. All right.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:32.
Skillset Talent Solutions offers marketing, accounting, business registration, logo creation, tax filing, background checks, and recruiting services. Call them at 876-559-3212. The temperature by Skillset Talent Solutions is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. It's hotting up in Mandeville. It's all of 20 degrees Celsius.
Interested in buying into a new housing development scheme, hiring a real estate agent, or interested in a profession in real estate? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you need to contact the Real Estate Board. Everyone in the real estate industry, including developers, dealers, and salesmen, must register with the Real Estate Board. Know your facts. Contact us at 926-974829 at 24 Trafalgar Road, Kingston 10, or visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
Haughton's RX, the caring pharmacy, the Yes We Can pharmacy, the Yes It's in Stock pharmacy, the House Call Delivery pharmacy, the RX Pack mobile app pharmacy, the RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy, the 20% reward pharmacy, the easy to remember number pharmacy, 876-RX0RXRX, the easy access 24/7 pharmacy, Haughton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, #wellness, #simply delivered.
experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
All Things Real Estate is brought to you by the Real Estate Board, Commission of Strata Corporations.
(8:35) on the morning after the opposition leader spoke in the House of Representatives. Not politics time now, it's the captive time for the Real Estate Board, and the board facilitates the relicensing process for real estate professionals, ensuring compliance with industry regulations, and the board offers multiple payment options for your convenience. Of course, these are modern times after all. The supervisor for the customer service unit at the Real Estate Board, Jermaine Sims, is in studio with me. Good morning, Mr. Jermaine.
Morning.
Everything good?
Good so far.
All right, great. Good. So let's start at the issue, at the point rather, of those payment options that you have so that people don't have to leave them place of work for come in the office, come sort out the payments?
Yes. All right. So just to mention the most important one, and that's our in-house online payment, our client portal. So once it is that you've been approved as a licensed or registered realtor using your license number, you'll be able to create an account on that platform. And so once you create an account, you're able to log in and make payments using your debit or credit cards. And one of the good things about that method is that your payment is reflected immediately. So there is no need to submit any proof of payment or wait on any transfers to reflect the next day. It's done immediately.
If I may stray from the scriptures a little bit, I've always wondered, Jermaine, and I'm asking you the question, is it that real estate, the business of being a real estate agent, is it for most people who are paid up agents in good standing, is it for most of them their main job or their second job?
Well, based on observation, a lot of them would have it as an additional job.
Well, not even, you might say additional, even say second, it could be the third. Here you are that. All right, so where employment letters are concerned, do people need one if they had submitted one from the last financial? Because you know where we are. We say, listen, we just give you one last year, we want one next one for.
Right. So the employment letters are an important part of the relicensing process. At the end of each financial year, you are required to have one submitted. Either you get it from your dealer of your choice and submit it, or you have them submit it on your behalf. At the end of the period, you are free to switch to any dealer of your choice. You know, you do have that. So in the absence of a new one, the real estate board will not assume that you are with the same broker and go ahead and issue a license. No, we wait on the official documentation from that real agent to indicate who they'll be working with for the financial year.
So simply put, there's no going around that requirement.
No.
All right. What if I don't intend to do any real estate business in a year? Am I still required to relicense and pay up?
All right. So you're not required to relicense and pay a license fee. We do understand that there are certain circumstances that affect individuals, and so they may decide to take a break. Whether it could be some schooling situation, could be a job conflict, medical situation, and so that's where the dormancy option comes in. So you would have a dormancy form, have that signed and stamped by a JP, and you submit that along with the requisite fee, whether it be $5,500 if you're a salesman or $11,000 if you are a dealer, and that is for the entire financial year. Of course, you can indicate if you want to be dormant for multiple years. You do have that option. The important thing about the dormancy is that you have to have that done by April 30, the latest. If it is that we do not receive any such documentation from you by April 30, the latest, then the license fee at that point becomes mandatory.
Ah, I see. What of the situation where someone who has indicated dormancy for a particular year, say period, let's say a year, but within the year, can they come back and say, listen, circumstances have changed, and 4 months in, I want to be active so I can do business? How does that work?
All right. So yes, they do have that option. Once it is that, if that is their circumstance, then they simply come in, indicate in writing that they want to, come off dormancy, and so they would pay the license fee for the period. So the fee is not prorated, so even it's a separate process now. So you pay that dormancy fee. We went through the formal process and approved you.
Yeah.
So seeing that you now want to change, then that's an entirely different process. So you'd pay the license fee and comply with any other necessary requirements, and then we'll be able to issue a license to you.
All right. So the issue of CPDs. Firstly, what is a CPD?
Right. So continuing professional development, those courses are an important part of the relicensing process as well, just to ensure that persons are up to par in terms of the latest happenings in the real estate industry and in terms of the regulations. And persons are required to complete them within 2 years of being registered and licensed as a realtor. So if it is that persons are unsure as to their standing where those courses are concerned, it's on our website. So once you go to reb.gov.jm, there's a tab to the top right on the website that says Search Public Register. So once you go to that section of the website, you can indicate salesman or dealer. And once you either put in the name or the license number and make a search, then that result will populate whosoever it is that you search for. And then just below, you'll see the number of CPDs completed. So it will indicate all 5 or 3 or 2. And then you'll be able to also go on our portal and then register for those CPDs if it is that you have any outstanding. And of course, if it is that you have any difficulties with the website, then they're also free to give us a call at our offices.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I always notice is that the ladies whose pictures are on these signs outside these apartment complexes, townhouse complexes, you know, advertising units for sale. I was just to myself, hold on, a pure good-looking woman says it's real estate because, trust me, the pictures are good. But I say that to make this point, Jermaine. I'd asked one of your colleagues a previous week, or it may have been you, I made a suggestion that what needs to happen, I think, is to help the public to have more control of the information. I can see Jermaine Sims's picture, and he says he's the person to contact about a unit for sale in this property. And I see his registration number. So I can say, wait, I wonder if the brother up to date. And I go on the REB's website and I boom, punch it in, and it comes up and tells me. So I think that's something that the real estate board can add to its range, its plethora, if you may, of options, so that the public can have more information on the people who are interfacing with them in making such an important decision as buying a property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned about the picture there. So there are internal discussions, you know, to expand the website a bit more, to even to indicate, to display the picture of realtors. However, we have to put in the necessary mechanisms in place, and of course data protection and a lot of things to consider going forward with that. So we are working to improve the offerings to the public.
Hear you on that. Jermaine, thank you this morning for your time.
All right, no problem.
Jermaine Sims, he's the supervisor in charge of customer service at the Real Estate Board. And for those of you who are real estate agents, real estate dealers, you should do what is necessary to maintain an active license. You must renew your license annually by the specified deadline. And if you change your mind about dormancy, nobody feels that the fee will drop. The fee is the fee. Yeah, you can't go around the fee. You can't go around the fact of an employment letter to establish that you are currently in the employ somewhere, because that's a crucial part of the documentation needed to process your application.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct.
Right. And also for the real estate dealers, they have an important part to play as well. Some of them, they have business registration certificates, and to say that they'll be trading as with this particular name. So sometimes, in some cases, they actually expire. And so we implore dealers to just check their business registration certificates to ensure that they are still up to date, and if so, have one submitted, because that can also impact the issuing of their license as well.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much. That's the All Things Real Estate here on Nationwide 90 FM.
All Things Real Estate was brought to you by the Real Estate Board, Commission of Strata Corporation.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
8:45.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Sometimes when life's poison arrows shoot me to the ground, dreams come falling down, friends just can't be found. I don't worry, I don't wonder, I know what to do. I you surround me with love.
Well, today is the birthday of a foundation member of the Nationwide family, David McFarlane, and he himself, his wife, and his son, Dominic and Denise, call himself the 3Ds. Well, him call himself 3Ds, yeah, because I'm responsible for the three, everybody. Are you giving him the name King? All right, then I say all right. Not you, but are we? All right. So the 3Ds, the father in the 3Ds, David. Happy birthday, my friend. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Wishing you all the best on this great day. And the wife is sending the sentiments expressed by Cynthia Schloss in this song straight to you, sir. Big up yourself.
Celebrate life, celebrate life.
One more year pandemic. One more year pandemic.
Celebrate life.
One more year pandemic.
Yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Yeah. One more year pandemic. Yeah. Go on, one vibe. Give thanks for life. Next year we doing it again. Yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Whoa. One more year pandemic. More life to you, can we there till the end. Real from me heart, no pretend. Big birthday, bash. If I ever on the ground, nigga, splash. Give thanks for your life, oh gosh. Watch it, they make me go deep in.
Celebrating her birthday today, Kadeen, Kitty, Miss Kitty, Mrs. Kitty. Happy birthday to you, Kadeen Hilton Wilkinson.
The hardest working woman in show business.
Trust me. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Much love to you coming from your NNN fam bam. Happy birthday. I know you'll have a wonderful day with your husband and your AA, who turned 1 year old.
Yeah, man.
I think it was last week or the week before that. Man. So happy birthday to you, Kadeen, Miss Kitty. Happy birthday.
Kitty, when we get the partner drum, I'm gonna send something for you, yeah? Bring up yourself.
And she's off this morning. She doesn't work on a Wednesday morning. Yeah. Waking up in good spirits, Miss Kitty. Happy birthday to you.
Next year we doing it again, yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year pandemic. More life to you, can we there till the end. Real from me heart, no pretend. One more trip round the sun. Oh yeah, and we give thanks.
Also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday greetings going out to Lashane Cox, Richard O'Brien Smith, Anna Real. Happy birthday to you, and happy birthday as well to Kareen Evans. Happy birthday, Kareen. Arlene Rowe wishing happy birthday greetings. It is Arlene Rowe's birthday. She says, note, this birthday greetings from me. I will be on the train and won't get a chance to send it. So is it your birthday, Arlene? That seems to be what you're communicating. Yeah, because I'm not seeing her greetings to anyone in the message.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Arlene, I live on a fear. Give it to her, Sean. Let's give it to her.
If it is your birthday, Arlene, happy birthday to you. But then I see a subsequent message here now that says, please send belated birthday greetings to my wonderful son-in-law, Anil Phillips, in Chancery Lane, downtown, who celebrated his birthday on Monday, the 17th. So this seems to be the connection.
Okay.
So belated birthday greetings to you, Anil Phillips, the son-in-law of our YouTuber Arlene Rowe. Belated birthday greetings to you. Wish or hope you had a wonderful day. Scrolling on down.
Sandria Ireland says, happy 55th birthday. Whoa. 55th birthday.
That's right.
To my loving and caring bad mama, Jama Mama, Colleen Campbell. Thanks for always being in my corner and your unwavering love, support, and encouragement from Sandria. So Sandria says her mama is 50 fit.
That's right.
Yeah?
50 and fit.
50 and fit. And she says, happy birthday to you. That's Colleen Campbell. The greetings are coming to you, ma'am, from your daughter, Sandria.
And Arlene also sending belated happy birthday greetings to her friend, Colleen Dunn in England. Her birthday was on the 16th. So belated birthday greetings to you, Colleen, from your friend, Arlene.
They said today's Dayton Campbell's birthday?
Oh, it is.
Yes, I see a thing in here. So Master Jam is sending happy birthday to PNP Dayton Campbell. So the PNP General Secretary. Today's your birthday, Master Jam says. So happy birthday to you, Dr. Dayton Campbell, the PNP General Secretary.
Happy birthday to you. Checking to see if there are any other birthdays before we wrap the birthday segment. Sonia Denise, did you say this one, George? Sending happy birthday greetings to Omar. Happy birthday to you, Omar, coming from Sonia Denise here on YouTube.
Next year we doing it again. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year upon them. More life to you, can we there till the end. Real from the heart, no pretend. Thanks for your reason. Yeah, celebrate for your reason. Yeah, well, I jive for your reason.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
So Tana, I've been getting several calls, especially on the weekends over the past few weeks. So people have been just saying to me that, George, who is this person that is posting these things about you? So what are you talking about? So like they were watching a track and field stream. So there's a meet at the stadium or there's a meet at GC Foster. And or there is a political meeting on, a JLP political meeting or a PNP political meeting. And people call me who are watching the different streams. And I said, George, who is this person, Glaister Hall, who says, please, Mr. George Davis, unblock me from Nationwide? So he goes into random chats, random YouTube chats, and types that.
Oh my goodness.
I swear to you, even Kareem sent me one the other day and I said, GD, what going on? So what did you do? What happened? And I had to be explaining to him. And
Really?
I said, oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
So on a JLP political meeting, a PNP political meeting, a track and field meeting, I'm sure horse racing at Caymanas Park, any YouTube stream that is up, the man goes there and types the same message.
Far and wide advocacy.
Mr. George Davis, please unblock me from Poor me, Israelite. Poor me.
As we wrap the show, Thelma Ferguson sending happy birthday greetings to Ebony Grace. Happy birthday to you, Ebony. Wishing for you a great day. So that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Erica Smith, happy birthday greetings to your daughter, Patrona Smith. She says, full joy your day, Natasha. Thanks so much to our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, our super musical maestro, technical operator, Jermaine King, and our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online, and they're on the road. I'm Tana.
And I'm George.
Good morning.
Like the stars that were night.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
United we will share, we'll be together. To see our rocking chair. Share the memories of the days that we knew. Take my love forever.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Sustainable living, afi all away. That was our local theme as Jamaica celebrated World Consumer Rights Day on Saturday, March 15. The aim is to encourage environmentally responsible consumption and promote